everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make a mini pumpkin. Now if you look in the description box, I do show you how to make it. I tell you in the video, and if you look in the description box, I'll also explain how to make it double this size. So mine's just like a mini for, you know, decoration. And I'll show you everything that you're going to need. I think it turned out pretty cute. I'm not super good at amigurumi, but I was able to pull off this pumpkin. Alright, so remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button if you have not yet already. And look in the description box as well, and you'll see the very first link is a link to all my crochet tutorials. I have hundreds and hundreds of them. So this just uses all single crochet. So I think even a beginner, and single crochet decrease. And I'll show you how to do that. So, you know, if you're a beginner, you'll be able to do this. You'll be able to do it. So for this tutorial, I used Premier Basic, which is a medium weight number 4, 100% acrylic. It doesn't take much yarn at all. That, I guess, maybe 50-60 yards probably, but you can remember make it double the size. I'll talk about that in the description box. The color I have here is called none other than Pumpkin. And then you're going to need some type of a fiber fill or filling. I use fiber fill that I purchased at Walmart, the polyfill. But there's other things you can use. Some people use yarn scraps and stuff like that. I explain that too when the time comes. And then for the top, I used cinnamon sticks. 1 cinnamon stick, I cut it in half. You don't have to do that. I also give you other alternatives that you can use and instead of the cinnamon sticks, and if you want to put a ribbon on it, you can. Not necessary. I give you other alternatives for that too. Let me give you a quick measure on this in case you are interested in the size. He's teeny and he's tiny. He's 4 inches and about 2.5. Well, if you count his cinnamon stick, he's about he's about 2.5 inches tall maybe. But he's cute. And then we're going to be using the size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. And if you're going to be using like a stick or something for the top, you'll need hot glue. Alright, well, let's do it. Alright, so we're going to start out with a slip knot on our hook. And then we are going to make a ring. Now, if you want to use the magic circle here, you can. I'm not going to. I'm going to work a chain of 4. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the first chain to form a ring. I always like to throw my tail over and use my middle finger. I put it in between the chain and the hook, and then I do my slip stitch. That way it keeps the ring open so you can work in it. So we're going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. Now we're going to work 6 single crochets through the center of the ring. So you go through the ring, draw up a loop, and do a single crochet. So you want to do 6 of those. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 6. So you can usually pull your tail and it'll close up that center circle a little bit more, and then later we can sew it together better. So we're going to be working in continual rounds, so there will be no visible seam. So you're going to need some type of stitch marker. I'm just going to use a piece of yarn. So go ahead and put it here after your last single crochet that you just made. So that would end row 1, and we have a total of 6 single crochets. Now we're going to single crochet back into the first one, but make sure you get it right because there's a chain 1 there. So we count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my 6th one. So that's where I need to single crochet into. So we're starting row 2. And we're actually going to put 2 single crochets into that stitch right here. So there's 1 and 2, and now we're going to work around and we're going to put 2 single crochets into every stitch all the way around. Just 2 there, jump to the next one, 2 there. Into the next one. So row 2 or round 2 is 2 single crochets in every stitch until you make it back to your stitch marker. Alright, so I made it back to my stitch marker, and that'll end row 2, and you should have a total of 12 stitches now. So we're going to go ahead and move our stitch marker up and start round 3. And for this round, this will be the repeat. We're going to put 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then we'll put 2 single crochets into the next. And that is the repeat for round 3. 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and 2 single crochets into the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern of 1 single crochet into the next and 2 single crochets into the next, all the way until I make it back to my stitch marker. Alright, I've made it to the end of round 3, and you should have a total of 18 stitches now. Every round will increase by 6 stitches. So that would end round 3. So now we're going to go ahead and start round 4, and we'll go ahead and start the repeat for round 4, which is 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 single there, 1 single into the next, and then 2 singles into the next. And that's the pattern we will repeat for row 4. 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, and then 1 in the next, and then the next one gets 2 single crochets. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this pattern all the way around until I make it back to my stitch marker. 1 single, 1 single, 2 singles, 1 single, 1 single, 2 singles, all the way back to our marker. Alright, I've made it to end of row 4, 24 stitches now. Go ahead and move our marker up, start round 5, and this will be the repeat for round 5. 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then 2 singles into the next. 1 and 2. And again, 1 single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3, and 2 singles into the next. So that is a repeat for round 5. 1 single into the next 3 and 2 into the next, all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. Remember, if you have a hole here, don't worry about it. We'll shut that, we'll close that up later. Alright, I've come to the end of row 5, and you'll have 30 stitches now. We've got to move our marker up, and now we will start row 6. And this time the repeat is 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 single crochets into the next. 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 singles into the next. So we're going to go ahead and repeat this pattern for row 6 until we get back around to our stitch marker. Alright, I've made it into round 6. 30 is 6 stitches. Gonna go ahead and move our stitch marker up, and we will start round 7. The repeat for round 7 is 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 singles into the next. And we repeat that again. 1 single crochet into the next 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 singles into the next. And we're going to go ahead and repeat this pattern all the way around until we get back to our stitch marker. Alright, so I've made it back around the end of row 7, and I should have 42 stitches. I'm going to stop here because I'm going to make a smaller pumpkin. Now, if you want to make a pumpkin double the size of mine, what you would do is just keep increasing in the same manner that we have been until you get a total of 14 rows instead of 7. So you want to double mine. I'm stopping at 7. You want double the size of mine. Just keep increasing like I have been, the same manner, until you finished out 14 rows. And at the end of 14 rows, you would have 84 stitches as opposed to 42 like I have here. So I'm doing a smaller version, but you can double it just like I mentioned. So I have 42. I finished 42 stitches. I finished 7 rows, rounds. So now what I'm going to do is move my stitch marker up, and I am going to do 5 rows of just straight single crochet, no increasing or anything. Now, if you was to double the size of the pumpkin, like I mentioned, you would do 10 rows. But I'm going to just start off now. So for row 8, I'm going to just do 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Rows 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are all going to be 1 row of single crochet in every stitch. So there is no more increasing if you're making the size that I'm making. Just work 5 rounds now of 1 single crochet in every stitch, and you'll always have 42 stitches when you make it back to your stitch marker. And then when you make it back, just move it up and go again until you've finished out. Remember, we're on round 8 now, until you finished out round 12, 1 single in every stitch. Alright, so I have made it to the end of round 12. I did my 5 rounds of single crochet. Now we're going to be doing some decreases. If you're making yours double the size, please refer to the description box on the decrease part for a pumpkin that's a double the size of mine. But for following along with me, we're going to start round 13. So we're going to do a 1 single crochet into the next. This will be the repeat for round 13. 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do a single crochet decrease, and that's worked over 2 stitches. So we go into the next stitch and draw up a loop, and then we go into the next one after that, draw up a loop. You'll have 3 loops, yarn over and go in through all 3. Make sure you do it kind of tight, just like that. So this is what we're going to repeat all the way around for round 13. 1 single crochet into the next 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet decrease, which is worked over 2 stitches. Go into the next one, draw up a loop. And then the next one after that, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. 1 single crochet in the next 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet decrease. Now I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I make it back to my stitch marker. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 13, and you should be able to finish out a complete repeat. Your last 2 stitches should be a decrease, and now you should have a total of 36 stitches. So what we're kind of doing is working our way back. Like down here we grew, now we're gonna start to decrease. So we're gonna go ahead and move our stitch marker up, and we're going to start round 14, and we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and single crochet decrease over the next 2. Make sure you do your decreases tight like that, and that's going to be the repeat for round 14. 1 single crochet into the next 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 and a single crochet decrease over the next 2. So I'm going to repeat this pattern until I get back around to my stitch marker. Alright, I come to the end of round 14, and you should have been able to finish out a complete repeat, and you should have 30 stitches now. Decrease there would have been your last stitch. So go ahead and start round 15, and now we're going to start the repeat and put 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then decrease over the next 2. So that is the repeat for round 15. 1 single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Just remember to keep your stitches as tight as possible, and then decrease over the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I make it back to my stitch marker. Alright, I made it to the end of round 15, and you will have 24 stitches now. Should have been in a complete repeat, so your last stitch would have been a decrease. Let's go ahead and start round 16 here, and we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and then decrease over the next 2. So that is the repeat for round 16. Sorry to get a little tied up here. That's okay. 1 single crochet into the next 2. 1, 2, and single crochet, or I'm sorry, single crochet decrease over the next 2. So that is the repeat pattern for round 16. 1 single crochet into the next 2, and then a single crochet decrease over the next 2 all the way around until you make it back to your stitch marker. Alright, at the end of round 16 you should have a total of 18 stitches. Let's go ahead and start. I think that's round 16. Yes, round 16. Move your marker up, and we're going to do round 17. Don't worry if you're having like difficulties, because I'm having difficulties because it's getting small and tight. So round 17, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then single crochet decrease over the next 2. Remember to keep it as tight as possible when you're doing this part up here. 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and a single crochet decrease over the next 2. And we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around for round 17. 1 single crochet into the next, and decrease over the next 2. And I'll meet back up with you really quick at our stitch marker. Alright, so I made it here to the end of round 17, and you should have 12 stitches. I'm going to go ahead and stop just for a moment here, and we're going to fill it up. So I stopped, but don't cut your yarn or anything, because we still got to go around a couple more times. Just pull it up so you don't lose it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew up the bottom here. If there's a hole left there, like there is on mine, I had a hole left. Use the yarn that was left over, and use your yarn needle and sew that hole closed on the bottom if you have one. If you use the magic circle, you probably don't, but let's go around it like this, as neat as possible, and it should close right up. See, here we go. And let me go back on it once more to lock it in place. And there's that, and then you can clip that yarn off. Now let's take whatever you're going to fill it with. I have fiber fill. Some people use yarn scraps. Some people take the stuffing out of old worn out stuffed animals and repurpose them, and you know, like that. So whatever you have, but I'm going to stuff mine with some fiber fill here without losing my tail there. I probably will, but just go ahead and take it and start filling her up. until she gets pretty full. Make sure you go all the way around. Try to get it to look as even as possible. Amigurumi is not my strong suit here, but I definitely can't do it very well to the caliber of a lot of people, but I can make a simple pumpkin, I think. Hopefully it turns out okay. Anyway, so keep filling it up and I'll meet back up with you here when I get mine filled. So as you can see, mine's filled. It's not overly stuffed, but it's still pretty stuffed, pretty tight. But it's pretty evenly stuffed, I guess. So let's go ahead and start round. Close it up here. I think we're on round 18, I think. So what we're gonna do is just start doing decreasing. I'm gonna go ahead and just move my stitch marker because we're not gonna really need it anymore. We're just going to do decreases until it's shut here at the top. So just decreasing, single crochet decreasing in every stitch. So go into that stitch, draw up a loop, the next stitch, draw up a loop, and yarn over and go through all three. Now this part's very important that you get it nice and tight up here. For me, this is always the hardest part, is getting it tight. So we're going to decrease all the way around until you can't decrease any more. Remember to keep it as tight as possible. I'm probably going to do it off camera because I struggle a lot getting it really tight. So just decreasing. There's no single crochets in between. It's just straight decreasing around and around until you cannot decrease anymore. And that's where I'll meet back up with you. Don't clip off though. Don't clip off. I'll meet back up with you once you get it to where you can't decrease anymore. And if you need to add a little bit more stuffing at the top before it's completely closed, you can. That's up to you. But right, I can't do it anymore. Mine's as filled as possible. Or as done as possible. There's a little bitty hole there. Like I said, if you want to add a little bit more stuffing, what you do is you take the stuffing and use like a hook and shove it in to fill up that top a little bit more, if you want to do that. Now what we're going to do is tie off a really long tail. I don't know, probably about a couple feet. Might as well just be, yeah, probably for this size, you know, 2.5 feet. Yeah, you need quite a bit of tail, I guess. It's always better to have more than not enough. Trust me. You don't want to have not enough. All right, let me see which one's my tail. All right, and then clip it off, and we're gonna sew it and make his close it up at the top more, and then make like the little lines for the pumpkin with this. So go ahead and move that out of the way. Move my hooks out of the way, and get your yarn needle ready on your big long tail. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take it, and I'm just going to do a couple sews here at the top. We're going to put a stem there, so it's not really it's not to be too perfect, but okay. All right, so what we're going to divide this in 8. We'll have eight separations on it for the pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go through the center and back down the center of the bottom and pull my yarn through, and I want to pull it kind of tight, like, but don't break your yarn. Now we're gonna bring it back up from the front and then back through the center of the top and back down the bottom again. Make sure you come out to the same spot or around the same spot if you can. Now this is going to create one of the, pull it kind of tight so it pulls it in like that. See that? And now I'm going to go in the opposite direction up the other side. Make sure you keep it tight and try to keep it as even as possible. Go through the center and back down the bottom again. If you can, try to hit the same spot. If not, it's okay. If anybody's down here examining your pumpkin to see if it's exactly equal, that would be odd, and that would be on them, not you. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to go this way and then back through the center and back down the bottom. Try to keep it as even as possible because we need to try to get 8 sections here. Pull a little tight there, like that. And then I'll go back this way and back through the top and down the bottom. And keep it even if you can. Pull it kind of tight so you get a little indentation in it. See that? Okay, now we got 4 sections there, so now we're going to do through the 4. So going to go through this way and through the top and back down the center. Make a little indentation. There we go. And then on the opposite direction, this way, through the top and back down the bottom. A little indentation there. It's looking pretty cute. Not exactly even, but hey, pumpkins aren't perfect. The pumpkins aren't perfect. You see them at Walmart. They're not perfect. We're always there trying to get the perfect ones at Walmart, but none of them are perfect. Now we're going to go this way. And one more time. We go through the top, down the bottom. Pull it tight to give it an indentation. And then back up on this one that we haven't done yet. So from the bottom to the top and out the bottom again. Pull it tight, give it an indentation. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. Wait till we get the stem on it. That's adorbs. Alright, now we're going to hide this. So I'm just going to kind of like do my best to weave it in down here at the bottom a little bit. This leftover tail. And then clip it off. And I'll show you what I'm going to do for the stem and some alternatives that you can do. Just do this a few times until you feel like it's not going to come undone. It's like these little, it's like the mini pumpkins. Alright. Alright, clip that off and we'll start on the stem. Okay, for the stem, I'm going to use cinnamon sticks. You don't have to use cinnamon sticks. You can use like sticks from your yard. That would be fine. You can crochet your own top if you'd like. That's fine. But I'm going to use cinnamon sticks, and I'm going to glue 2 together with hot glue. I don't recommend this at home, but for you guys, but I do it because I don't have my hot glue gun. So I'm going to use a lighter here, this big grill lighter, to heat up my hot glue. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? Gosh. Now I'm going to glue my sticks together. And then I'm going to, I need a different lighter. Then I'm going to hot glue it onto my pumpkin. So whether if you're using a stick from your yard or something like that, you just can directly glue it on, hot glue it onto your pumpkin. I gotta use these two, glue these 2 together, my cinnamon sticks. And if you're using, then I'm gonna glue it on like here. So let me put some glue down in here. If you're using crocheting like a little brown stem or a little green stem, whatever you want to do, you can just sew it onto your pumpkin if you want, or you could also hot glue it, because I found that hot glue and yarn are a match made in heaven. Once they're together, they are never ever apart, and there's nothing that can pull them apart. Alright, so I'll put a little bit of hot glue down here, and then I'll stick my stem on it. And now I'm going to put a ribbon on mine. You know, you don't have to do that either. You can leave it the way it is. You can make some leaves out of yarn if you want, or make some curly cues out of yarn, or you can use the ribbon like me It's up to you. Just to let you know right up front, I cannot make a bow. So, but what I'm going to do is just tie a ribbon around here and a little bow, and maybe just put a little piece of hot glue on it to hold it on. Alright, I did it. That legit took me 30 minutes to make that bow. But I did it. So there's my little pumpkin. I can't wait to see yours. I hope that you were able to follow along okay. And remember, you can do your stem and greenery however you want, or just use a stem and no greenery. And remember to refer to the description box how to make it bigger than my mini pumpkin. And I think it turned out cute. The bow's a little weird, but that's okay. I'll see you guys on my next video. Remember, share a picture with me of your pumpkin on my Facebook page or Instagram. Alright, links to those in the description box. Bye guys.